Primitive. What up?
What's good? What's
Yo,
good? Welcome back
Yeah.
to another episode of Unapologetically Black.
Shit.
No broken, always
Oh,
empowered. It's Shit Talk
it
Saturday
is.
or whatever. So what's been going on with you, Rich? How you
Rich, how you
feeling?
feeling?
How's your week
oh,
been?
man. It's a Saturday. We're finally done moving. So we're officially settled in here.
We seen
Um,
this.
Unpacked or just moved?
hmm?
Unpacked or just moved?
For the most part, we unpacked while moving.
Okay.
Why it
Yeah,
took
you
so
can see
damn
his
long?
shoe collection behind them.
Yeah.
Because where you see these shoes at, like they're gonna stay here. Like they're not. Uh,
Gotcha.
finally unpacked. Got everything good. Um, Christmas shopping happens.
You
Soon.
adult man.
Trying to make sure I find my words the correct way because my children are across the way. I don't know if y'all can hear them, but
Yeah, we can.
yeah, they're across the way.
Hey,
So
Izzy.
I don't want to say too much. She's eating McDonald's. Uh,
But yeah. Same
but
over here. We
how y'all,
started.
y'all living?
Yeah, we've started Christmas things. I literally just bought a tree today with the intention of putting it up tomorrow. So
Yeah,
yesterday
that's insane.
we went to our
Your trees aren't up yet?
huh?
Your trees aren't up yet?
We didn't have one. And our car's out of commission, so I'm just now getting to go buy one. Like it just hasn't been on the forefront of my to-do
Right.
list to go buy one. But anyways, so yesterday we went to the tree lighting for our city and our neighborhood. They did a big tree lighting, and Santa came on um, the
Fire truck.
fire truck and gave out candy and stuff to the kids. So it was fun. That was Snuggles' first, Christmas experience like that because he's essentially a COVID kid. So, and this was the first one they had here in 2 years, and that's basically been, everywhere. This is the first year in 2 years. So, yeah, it's been good. We've been cooling. This week's been it's been pretty good. No
Yeah,
complaints.
real chill.
That's good. That's good. But yeah, for the most part, we're good. Chilling down, making sure we get everything set up. Making sure that the kids here are taken care of, which is obviously every parent's number one priority.
Absolutely.
Make sure the kids are taken care of. But so yeah,
Yeah.
life is life. I work tomorrow, unfortunately, but
You said you work tomorrow?
yeah, we have an open gym. Which means motherfuckers can just come in and work out whenever they damn well please.
Oh, that's funny because it's National Cookie Day tomorrow. So
All it means is that I'm gonna have an ass ton of people in my face saying, "I want to work out for free."
Yeah, you're gonna have that. He has to give out free cookies tomorrow. So both of y'all
yeah,
have a
I'm on
shit
the
day.
opposite end of you, my brother.
Right.
Because normally,
But see, you can pre-make cookies, have them set, and be like, "Here, just take a free cookie." Motherfuckers gonna come in, they gotta sign waivers, they gotta make like all kinds of shit. They're gonna be trying to bring their kids in and like, bro.
You think people ain't gonna be trying to bring their kids into my job? Like I've seen it. They're gonna purchase one cookie a piece once they realize I can get a free cookie, and then just have their kids do it.
Well, speaking of kids, and jumping right into things happening this week, this was a smaller story, but I thought it was still kind of interesting. In Wisconsin, there is a 10-year-old child who I'm going to venture to say is black based off of the names, right? I didn't like write them down. I can go back and look it back up. But anyways, I think it was like Kashia was like his mother's name, something like that. Anyway, I say that he's 10 years old and he's being charged as an adult for um, homicide. He killed his mother because she wouldn't buy him a VR set.
Oh yeah, I seen that, and then like an hour or so,
Aggravated homicide, yeah.
30 minutes to an hour later, like he had went and just bought it himself off her
He
credit
ordered
card.
it off her Amazon and then even followed up with his grandmother to see if it got delivered.
Yeah, but my thing is so I have to read the story because I didn't read the story as to how. But my number one question is always how, mainly because my head is always on a swivel, and so like our guns are put up, they're locked away. so our kids can't get to it, right?
Right.
My son isn't going to get within fucking 3 feet of me with a knife or anything like that. And that's my oldest son. Even if he's saying, "Hey, daddy, can you come help me cut this?" He's going to lay the fucking knife like on the counter and then I'm going to grab it because I will fucking boot them up. I swear to God, I will boot him right across the goddamn living room. And for those who like to be like, well, that's child abuse, kiss my ass. He has a knife in his hand. I kicked his ass across the goddamn.
That's self-defense.
Child abuse. My child came at me with a knife. We've been fighting since he's like forever.
Yeah. So I mean, I've always wondered like how those type of things happen. You know, outside of just catching them lacking, like going to sleep, and you know, you catch them lacking while asleep, right?
Yeah.
Which that I'm like, okay, well, yeah.
Because I mean, Izzy's 9. I can't imagine her just sneaking up with like malintent and me just being like,
so
well, it's okay.
They did say the family said that they felt like they should have spoken up sooner. Like the little boy has had very violent, very, you know, angry tendencies. Like so the family members said that they felt like something bad was going to eventually happen. So when they first investigated, they basically said, or maybe even the little boy said, that he was playing with the gun and accidentally went off. So they didn't do anything about it at the time.
How does your 10-year-old get access to your gun?
And that part we're probably not gonna, you know, read in a story. But
how, like, if you take the proper measures to do the things you're supposed to do with your gun owners, if you take your gun, you know, like I keep mine loaded, right? Because to me, an unloaded gun is a useless gun. That's just me personally. But my loaded gun is locked away from where my kids can reach. They don't know where it's at. So I never say, hey, go to my closet and get, no, they don't know where it's at. They don't have a key to it. They don't have the combination. They don't have any of that. So they have no way of getting to it.
Right.
When I put my gun up, my kids are not around. If I take it with me, because we went out to the store, we went out for the day, and I had it on me, and we get back, and I'm getting ready to put it up, I tell my kids, get out. Like, get out of my room.
Yeah.
And I've taught them beforehand, like, hey, if you see my gun, you don't touch it. You don't move. You don't do anything. As a matter of fact, the first thing you should do is just come tell me, hey, Dad, we see your gun. And then from there, I'm like, oh, shit, you know, let me go put this up. Like, deal with it ASAP. So I just never understand how things like how a child gets to a gun.
Yeah.
If you took the proper steps in the first place to prevent it from happening.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I completely agree with that. When you hear about kids finding them, but I mean, not everybody is as safe as in improper gun. Right.
That's just
okay, never mind.
Regular gun protocol. Like, that's regular gun protocol. Things you should do.
No, and it is okay, but without putting like anything out or anyone in our lives out there. We have been to people's houses who have had guns stashed in the couch. Like my child's foot was there. I had to like recognize that's where he was taking a nap. So I mean,
said person said, "Oh snap! I forgot there was a gun there," and I said, "You forgot?"
Okay, I can see that if said person doesn't have children, right, and they're always typically by themselves. Yes, I can see that. I know people that they put their weapons in places where if they generally sit. So like me, if I'm at home alone and I'm generally sitting on the couch, it can be next to me, right? And if I don't genuinely have kids, if I get up and I'm like, oh shit, I got people coming over, then I can see that. Well, however, I believe you should always make the conscious decision. If you know you have weapons, you should always have to make the conscious decision to be like, oh shit, let me go and do this.
Right.
So before we spend too much time on this subject and I throw this person out, they did live in a certain part of town where it is known to be a little more dangerous. And I'm not sure whose it was because there were a lot of people around. So I'm going to just say to that person, I did warn them of proper gun safety. And if you're listening, anyone out there who owns a gun, just please be responsible with your gun. Make sure it's locked up and away from children.
Away and proper gun safety, people. Proper, not the backyard shit that you learned from your fucking Uncle Ray who just handed you a fucking shotgun and said shoot the shit. Like, no. Proper trigger control. Making sure that you know that there's around. Like, you should never be guessing if there's a round inside of your own chamber. You should never be guessing that. You should know that shit.
Yeah.
But that's just my tangent on motherfuckers who don't take care of their shit.
Yeah, we don't own guns, so can't really say that, we're
So-
proper
Well,
gun.
I think that's a whole nother conversation. Right?
No, I'm just saying for us personally.
I'm saying we don't.
We do not own guns. So
And that's
we
not taking
cannot
a stance
say
on it. I'm
that
just saying
we are
we don't.
proper gun owners, so we don't really give too much of like
But I know people that are like, well, no, you should not have guns at all.
We didn't say that.
I never said that. You do what you do in your house. I do what I do in my house. I just don't personally have a gun.
I just like to point out that people that break into houses, they like to break into houses of people who don't own guns. That's the house that they want to break into.
But I live on the 5th floor stairs. If you
You're not walking up here.
You are not walking up here to break in.
I guarantee you. I was listening to a rapper who talked about him going to jail or getting off of a RICO case, right?
Mhm.
They drove 10 hours to go rob a jewelry store.
Wow.
That talk about dedication. They drove 10 hours.
But let me tell you and remind you that I live in a very not me neighborhood. We're very nosy neighbors. So the neighborhood watch is better than the police department. The police department is less than 5 minutes away from my house.
Oh, man.
Don't play with me.
Well, I tell you, that neighborhood watch shit, boy. They be on their goddamn job. Like Karen be on her goddamn job. Sometimes you like it, sometimes
as far as the neighborhood watch, we'd never have crime. I promise you. Because the neighborhood watch be on it. In my neighborhood, they can tell you in the newspaper when someone got jacked by 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
They said someone got robbed by 2 neighborhood kids and they ran off. They didn't see a gun. There was no threat. There was just a kid who got his money taken and his stuff, and he was very afraid. That was it. That's the neighborhood watch. I ain't never seen that in the newspaper. And that's the local newspaper I got from the grocery store.
Well, speaking of, neighborhood watch, police, arresting, segue, okay. Update on the Cabo 6. So Shanquilla Robinson, right?
Yes.
Shanquilla Robinson, had to make sure. So they have the young lady that got murdered by her friends.
Mexico.
In Mexico.
They're calling them the Cabo 6. The case. So the woman who was in the original video fighting her has been officially arrested and detained and extradited to Mexico. So she's currently in Mexico. They're hoping to essentially, scare her into snitching on everybody else.
She going Tekashi 6ix9ine, bro. I know it.
Oh.
Yeah, nobody wants to go to prison in Mexico. That's
Mexico.
It's bad enough being in the United States in prison. So I can
I'll tell you right now, Tekashi's made it. I don't want to say he's the one that made it cool to snitch, but look, I'm not going to jail. Here's me. I'm not gonna put myself in a position where I have to do this because I do believe that snitches get stitches. But at the same time, I'm damn sure not going to jail for y'all. If y'all do some shit and they come on to arrest me, oh, Rich, you was with him. We know you.
Especially because that particular video was put out to protect, themselves. You know what I mean? We're gonna out her because everybody in the video was involved. Or essentially almost everybody on the trip was involved in some way, shape, or form. So you outed me, nah, nigga, I'm snitching.
Yeah,
you gonna put that video out? I'm snitching.
They want it all, and social media.
Because one of the biggest stories one of the story I would want to know is how this even happened. If you guys all went together, you go as a group, we all go somewhere. We go to BlurCon as a group. Mm-hmm. How does Rich come up missing?
Exactly.
If he's there with 8 other people.
That's saying that you paid.
Right. Rich paid for everything and you came up missing.
And he's the one that came up missing.
How that work, bro?
How did that happen? Outside of hey, we were supposed to meet up at the hotel and for some reason Rich never showed up. But immediately, not 4 days later, immediately we've been yo, Rich, where you at? You 10 minutes late. Hey, you 15 minutes late. Hey, bro,
I'd be on it.
Hey, bro, you it's been 30 minutes.
Been at BlurCon because I was hungry. My ass was calling you nigga, you coming? Because I'm about to go.
Between Brittany and Kendall, they had the schedule on.
After an hour goes by, I'm like, hey, look, somebody go find him. He's late.
Something's not right.
Yeah.
And if a whole day goes by and you've not heard from this person, I'm already picking on the phone. Hey man, like look, I've been looking for this man for where is he at? I don't know. That's how you keep yourself clear from stuff like this. You know,
Bro, you got to the airport. Like by the time you landed in Texas, we were all at brunch. Everybody was like, "Oh, good, Rich landed."
Right.
yeah,
Like,
but I kept up in
clear.
the chat like, hey, I'm on my way to the airport. Hey, look, made it here, about to get on my flight. Like, keep up
And
communication type.
everyone was excited to see that you
So
landed. Like
you,
everybody was excited to know that we all got to where we got to safely, and they were like, "Oh, good, such and such made it. I'm glad everybody made it home."
mm-hmm.
I couldn't imagine going on a trip and being like, "Yeah, Rich ain't coming back." Like that's heartbreaking. We're friends. Like,
Yeah, especially if we all went there together. Like, how did that? You got
right.
to explain, and
Yeah,
I can't explain that to your kids or just to your family. Like how we all went
Absolutely.
I
together.
can't go look your mama in the eyes after you're murdered on a trip that we all planned. We were all excited about. Like,
Not
you
without
in
seeing,
Mexico,
not
you
without
had to be
looking like
excited.
you were a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
Yeah. Like whether you put hands on her or not, you had something to do with this.
You are one of very few people who know the truth.
And to lie to her mama and to sit there and be like, yo, like that's
yeah,
not
like you
good.
can't say I don't know. Like that's not. We know you're lying, bro.
Right.
Because like, could you imagine somebody coming back telling
Or
you to
just,
your
I mean,
face,
even just
I
like
don't know?
alcohol poisoning. I mean, not saying that people don't pass of alcohol because it absolutely does happen.
But you're her friend. Why didn't you stop her before she got to that point?
Right.
Because I'd expect you to
yeah,
stop
but
me when I get too drunk.
yeah, and I get that, or I get not stopping them, or whatever you choose to do. That. But at least I have what happened. Like, hey, what happened? Which is normally the answer that most parents or someone wants to hear.
Yeah.
Is
And
what
you gave
happened.
me a
Oh,
bullshit answer.
it was alcohol poisoning. Like, look, we got really wasted. Everybody was wasted. They kept drinking. It was alcohol poisoning, or something wrong with the alcohol.
Mhm.
Like, you know the answer to that question.
But I feel like only like
Rather than not
only
knowing at all.
but
Nah, I feel
alcohol
you.
poisoning is
I've
more
drank a
common with
lot in my day.
alcoholics.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say
like
I've drank a lot in my day
I've
and
never gotten
haven't
to the
gotten to
point
that
where I'm
point.
like, okay, I'm going back for more. Because after a while, I started throwing up. And at
Yeah.
that point, it's not fun to go back. Like in your mind, you're like, I don't want to do this no more. Like my stomach
Exactly.
hurt, my head
Right.
hurts. I just want to go to
I just
sleep.
want to be
I
sober.
mean, yeah, believe it or not, after a good buzz, you be like, all right, nah, I'm good. I don't need to.
And I've never
Right, and
met the
they
person
they
that
weren't.
says this isn't enough
They were
for me.
young, but they weren't young. You know, like they were mid-20s. By your mid-20s, you are still having blackout nights, but you got your rhythm.
You know when you blacking out and when you like, yo, I'm not waking up tomorrow. And I've lived through my 20s. Like we've all lived through it. And like none of us have gotten to the point where it's like I've had to go to the hospital for
But I
alcohol
mean,
poisoning.
but that just speaks to the fact that there were clear holes in the story to begin with, because obviously that's not what really happened.
Right.
So it was a very like bullshit story to begin with. But I say all this to say, so they have her, in Mexico, extradited, and then the other thing that they've been talking a lot about is, so in Mexico there was a huge, just kind of like conspiracy about the different police reports. There was the original police report, and then there's the one that the forensic examiner had. But apparently in Mexico, when you call 911 or you call the police, they don't send out. It's not like here, which honestly I don't know why everyone gets sent out. But everyone gets sent out. In Mexico, they only send out first aid if you only think first aid needs to be administered. So these people they're not necessarily anything more than,
They're not trying to go to jail. They're not about to say, oh, she did. They're gonna say it's alcohol poisoning.
they're going to go with what you say. And they're not trained to write reports. They're not trained to do anything, because that's not what they're there to do. They're there to administer first aid. And so that's where a lot of obviously I don't know everything, but like that's where
it's
the
about to
discrepancies came from. So when people are like, well, the government's trying to hide something, to an extent they are, because they don't want negative publicity on their country.
Like Cabo's the like vacation spot. Imagine.
But I feel like America judges anyone who doesn't do anything the way that they do it. You know what I'm saying? Where
Yeah, it's the
if
American
we were
way.
like, well, you know, they
Because we
sent
don't do things right either, but we
Yeah.
don't.
We do
because
it.
if Mexico's like, yeah, we sent out first aid because you know they called
They
about,
said it was food, right?
That's what
All
I
kinds
did.
of poisoning.
and then I feel like America like, well, why didn't you do more? And they were like,
But to
but
me,
Mexico
if
could
I
turn around and be
call
like,
and say
well, why
someone's
do you
breaking
do
into
so
my
much?
house,
Like,
I don't need right. If I call and say someone's breaking into my house, I don't need the fucking fire truck to
you're like,
come.
why's the fire truck here?
Exactly.
All you're doing is clogging up lanes. Get out of the way.
And spending tax dollars.
So I will say that is up to the dispatch that sends out the people.
It is up to the
and that is
dispatch.
not up to
That's
just
true.
everyone goes. It is up to the certain dispatch, and if they need that, or if you make
And
it
I'm
sound
sure
like
now,
the emergency
post
requires
COVID,
that.
it is very, they are much more selective. But in the past, I feel like every emergency required one of each.
Right.
Maybe.
So, but anywho, moving on to more people being arrested. There was a DJ
Mm-hmm.
that was arrested in the Takeoff homicide case,
All
as
right.
well as a 22-year-old child, because that's child.
So one of them were arrested for having the gun,
Yeah, the
and the other
child
one was arrested for act like in
For shooting.
connection with the shooting. So
Right.
we can't say he is the shooter because the investigation's still ongoing. However, he was arrested. Like one of
He
them
had the
was
gun
arrested
that
for
was-
Shit, you might
Absolutely.
you're not gonna get as much time, but you're going you're going to jail too because you have the gun. You know who belongs
Absolutely.
to you, and you're covering it up. That's aiding and abetting, motherfucker. You going to jail.
Mhm.
and you were there, so like they're gonna give you extra time because he's a celebrity too. So you gotta
Right.
you gotta factor that in.
And it was just over some bullshit. Like, come on, man. Like, there was no reason for Takeoff to have to die.
Yeah, they set his bail at $1 million, and they basically said if he's able to post bail, they asked that he cannot be around any of the like star witnesses to the actual case.
Mhm.
So I know you had mentioned that, you know, being from Houston and being in that area, that you know a lot of people who know.
Yeah, so like there's a lot of people that I went to school with who are part of like the city life and entertainment life who know the DJ. And so obviously me being nosy, I go on and I'm looking up names and stuff like that. He hasn't posted in a while, so to me, I just kind of start putting two and two together. Be like, oh, he ain't posted in like over a month. Must be him.
You did
That's
it.
just me being nosy.
That's hilarious.
But,
Yeah, and then there was a arrest warrant put out for Antonio Brown. So
what did he do now?
So allegedly, it was for assault and battery on his girlfriend.
his ex-fiance, and he threatened her life. He threatened to shoot her. So
I don't know what's going on with athletes these days or entertainers these days.
Antonio Brown in specific, dog, because he's been tripping for a while.
He has been tripping for a while. Kanye's been tripping for a while, and it's almost, I feel like it's in their water. I don't know what the fuck they're drinking.
Dog, it's Florida because it's like
it has to be. It has
bro
to be.
came back with a chance to play for the Patriots, and it's like, yo, you started doing great, phenomenal. You could have kept your career going. You got in trouble, but it was like, you know what? Tom Brady ruled for you. So when he left the Patriots, he went to the Bucks. You came to the Bucks, and then you quit mid-game. So now you like every time we hear about Antonio Brown, it's like, what are you doing this time?
the most positive thing was that he was not Masked Singer.
Yeah.
And that's like the most positive thing he's done recently.
And that shouldn't even be a positive thing. It's just it shouldn't even.
And that wasn't even recent. He was on season 1.
So speaking of athletes, though,
Last season, it was recent.
Yeah, it was recent.
I was gonna say right before all of his scandals.
Yeah,
it was his last season.
They just probably just aired it though.
No, we
We
watch it. We watch Masked Singer.
No, I'm saying they probably like been recorded it and it's just now airing it.
Maybe
But,
pushing it out. Nick Cannon does not take a break. He does not rest between making babies and doing shows.
No. Nick Cannon's in the hospital.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I mean, I can say.
What does that have to do with Nick Cannon making babies? And
Well,
Right, I was gonna say I can say that.
She said Nick Cannon doesn't rest, and like I'm like, no.
Well, clearly, but
he
he
needs
needs
his
to.
rest,
Yeah,
you
he
know.
has lupus.
but between kids making and TV shows, the nigga don't rest.
He's
Being in the
tired.
hospital has nothing to do with anything.
My statement was still correct. Exactly.
Yes.
Thank you, Rich.
But
Trying to make
speaking
me apologetic. I'm
of
unapologetic.
that, LeBron James, I don't want to say he attacked the media because he didn't attack them, but he definitely questioned them. Because
he sat through their whole interview and
he sat there. Yeah, he sat during the entire interview after the game
post conference,
and he was like, he waited. He didn't rush anybody. He waited. They said we're done. Like, hey, LeBron, you got anything for us? We're done. And he was like, yes, I do. He said, I sat here this entire post conference, waited on you guys to say something about Jerry Jones and this picture that popped up and the controversy behind it. And he said, and you said nothing. He said, and you wouldn't have said anything until I brought it up. Yet Kyrie's incident happened of him just sharing a link, and you guys bombarded me with for a month, starting off conferences and press conferences with Kyrie's questions about Kyrie, but no one said anything about Jerry Jones, and he was trying to figure out why. Why not? What happened to that same energy? And that's what Kyrie was telling them. Keep that same energy. And for some reason, they wouldn't. But we know that. We know that they
won't.
So for people who don't know, LeBron is a known Cowboys fan. He grew up as a Cowboys fan. He's always watched them. Like, and he talked about, not just basketball in a lot of these press conferences. He talks about the stuff that happened with Kaepernick. He talks about a lot of like legal stuff. He talks about the law. He talks about politics. He talks about just about everything after these post-game conferences. Hell, I've seen one where he was talking about how he looked at Steph after Steph got the ring on the opening night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so when you don't ask about these questions, it makes it feel like when everybody's saying just shut up and dribble, because you can ask me everything else, but when it comes time to say, well, what are your opinions on
the white man,
right, favorite football teams? And this picture that surfaced, I don't have that same energy,
right?
Because it's not bothering my community,
right? And it's just like, well, why not? And then people actually thought he was like, oh, well, why is he taking? Jerry Jones isn't doing anything in the photo. You don't know what he's doing. To me, it's not an attack at Jerry Jones, right?
No,
it's an attack at the media, or it's questioning the media. Now,
right.
Jerry Jones, what Jerry Jones was doing in that photo in 1950 something, we can only speculate.
We don't know.
The picture.
Most of us know what was happening in 1958.
Yeah, we know what was happening.
Yeah, he was there at Arkansas.
You can make the assumption
that he was there
of what was happening. Right, he was there to protest.
4 black students going into an Arkansas school.
You can't necessarily make the assumption that the anti-Semitic remarks within a movie that Kyrie, he
said it had some good points to it. And if he agreed with some of the points, then he agreed with some of the points. I think you make some good points, but that doesn't mean I agree with everything you say.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And we can talk about it for a little bit. I know I said I didn't want to, but we talk about it. Which I felt the way with Kanye.
We were going to talk about it. I don't know. I know I said I didn't want to, but we were going to talk about it.
No, you wanted to talk about it.
I understand certain things, right? Like, no one, like in my military career, no one's argued that Hitler, about some of the qualities of Hitler, like him being a great leader. Like, we understand that. He's been a great leader. No one would question his leadership. What we questioned is in the manner of what he was fucking leading for.
Right.
That was what we were questioning. But no
Do you have the ability to command people? Absolutely. But what are you commanding them to do?
And one would argue that the ability to command people is a good trait. The ability to be a good leader is a good trait. But for me, that's where the buck stops. Nothing else about Hitler is good. Nothing.
Absolutely not.
So I don't understand.
And honestly, all the bad outweighs the fact that you're a good fucking leader. That's not even worth mentioning.
Yeah, no.
That's not even worth mentioning. We have the same favorite color, but he's a shit human being. Like,
he wanted to be an artist at one point.
But that I believe that's how anyway, I don't know if it might be
Like-
compare apple to oranges, but that's how I feel like how a lot of people feel about like their past relationship. Like, you are a good husband, but or you are a good person or good dad, but you're a shit husband, right? So like stuff like that. But I think, as for the most part, Hitler, the only thing great about Hitler was him being a good leader. Everything else he was shit at. You're
The
a
only
shitty
good thing
human
about
being.
Hitler was he started the first no smoking campaign.
But yeah, Hitler
I
was
mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing about Kanye. At this point, like,
he just needs to shut
there
the fuck
is
up.
no, to me, there is no redemption in the sense of you don't get to say what you want to say, get the backlash, cry about the fact that your account is frozen and you can't use your Apple Pay, and then turn around and then start talking about I love him. Like, he's a grown ass man. He understands what he's saying and who he's pissing off, and like, you don't get to pull on the heartstrings and say I can't even use my Apple Pay. This is bullshit. They could do it to any American. And
well,
then
I will say that just because I say something doesn't mean you can just freeze my bank accounts.
But then you don't turn around and keep saying the shit, because now you know they can. The fuck?
But I don't believe that they should have the right to.
And we talked about that last week, and I agree that those contracts shouldn't exist. But now you know they can.
Yeah.
So now you're gonna keep pushing. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Like,
why would you keep antagonizing the people that you know?
Now you're being absurd.
If I know that you could stop my money,
like, more so than you already
literally stop my own money that I've earned, I'm gonna stop doing what I'm doing. Like, I'm gonna look at this and say, well, maybe this isn't the right.
Maybe I should turn down this interview. Maybe this
isn't
the best thing for me to do.
Maybe I should journal.
Yeah,
I should just write
he's
all my
he's definitely the living embodiment of not all publicity is good publicity.
Absolutely.
Kanye should just get a journal for his feelings. None of his friends love him enough to just say, listen, bro, get in the studio, write it out. Like,
honestly, it's not about that. I think a lot of people are like, bro, like, there's so much negativity around you. Like, I can't afford to be caught with you in public.
Yeah.
So those who have that option have that option. I feel like he surrounds himself with yes men, like the ones he pays.
Who just don't have that enough of an.
I don't think Kanye surrounds himself with any people at all. Which is probably the issue. Is that he doesn't surround himself with people? Because if he did, he wouldn't have the time to go do all these dumbass interviews that he's doing.
Yeah, and then my question is, with like white supremacists.
I mean, he still has a team. He still has a team. That's what I'm saying. There's nobody on his immediate team. There is a team of security people around him all the time that don't tell that nigga.
Oh, well, yeah. But, I mean, their job is very strict. Their job is, it's not like...
But there's other people, too, is what I'm saying.
It's just, I get paid to protect you, to make sure that other people don't hurt you. I don't have to agree with anything that you say and or do.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about, like, his people that he talks to. Like, hey, what do you think about
this?
Yeah,
no,
I don't think he has any of those people.
He's a puppet. He's honestly, like, no better than what he calls everybody else, to be honest with you. Like, it's no fucking better. But I say, like, so he started saying that he did an interview. He said he likes Hitler. He's been posting the Star of David with the swastika, like, either one or the other is in the other. I don't know. I'm not
Jewish, and I'm not looking up the image, so I
haven't looked up the image. But Elon Musk had originally, earlier in the week and last week, had come out and said that he had reinstated all of the accounts that had been suspended, like Trump's account and everyone else's
Green's account.
Everyone else's account. He reinstated it, and then he said, this is a freedom of speech platform. This is social media. You can say whatever you want. And then Kanye came out posting those images. And then he said, he said you violated the policy to incite
a race right or incite something. He basically banned him. He
incite said something dangerous.
And was just like, listen, bro, everybody can come back, but you are
yeah, so
you gotta go.
Yeah, I don't want to keep talking about Kanye. I don't. But
let's talk about Elon and how he about to lose out because of Apple.
So yeah, Elon Musk, after spending, what was it, $80 billion on Twitter. Yeah.
because he bought it out above the stock price.
He bought it. Yeah, he threw a number out there. I mean, we already knew this and we talked about it. He threw a number out there just for shits and giggles, tried to back out, and they held that nigga's feet to the flame. So he paid out for Twitter. Now he has Twitter, and he realizes Twitter is not all the grass was not greener.
They set something up, and then you came in and you bought it up, thinking, "How hard can this be?"
Yeah. So now he's cutting people's jobs left and right. Thousands of people have lost their jobs.
People are quitting left and right.
People are quitting, but thousands of people have lost their jobs. And he's making people, no longer remote work. You have to come in. All these different rules and regulations he's changing. And one of them is the blue check mark.
Yeah, he made it easier to be verified now. So now people are buying into it and you have to pay for it. So it's like,
which is essentially just cheapening the brand from everyone else's perspective. It's cheapening the authenticity of Twitter.
Then it's like, oh,
it doesn't mean much.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to be verified these days. And it's like, if $8 a month gets us verified,
I'm verified today.
Yeah. Right, exactly. And then I can spew whatever message I want to spew, but it's verified. So then people start taking that
as my blue check mark.
Exactly. So because he's doing all of this to cheapen the brand, and essentially just being Elon Musk, like you might be the richest man in the world, but you are
a dickhead.
Yeah, you're not pleasant. You're not a very pleasant human. So like Apple has threatened upon their quarterly, essentially their audit of everything that they have in their Apple store, because everything in Apple's proprietary to the Apple store. It's right. It's not an open marketplace. They have decided that Twitter is essentially on the chopping block. They may not offer it to iPhone users and Apple products, people in the Apple store. So,
and I mean, Apple takes their security seriously.
They do. And when you're saying it's free and open speech, anybody can be verified, you're really not making this a safe
space. And like, I'm not gonna hold you. I learned this movie secret that Apple does not allow any bad guys in a movie. Spoiler alert, that if you're watching a series or a movie and like you're looking for the phones, any person with an Apple phone is always a good person. Apple pays the industry for that.
Funny thing though. Like
wait, say that again.
So
bad guys don't have iPhones.
Bad guys don't have iPhones. Once they started being updated to a point where it's like Androids no longer look futuristic. Like if you watch the old like Marvel movies, in the beginning, Tony Stark had like these cool like Samsung, like the brand new like product placement, like Android type phones. Then after a while, Apple started coming into that industry. Every hero uses an iPhone.
The heroes use iPhone and the villains.
No, not just a hero. Every good person in a movie uses an iPhone. Any bad person in a movie
can't be associated
Android.
with negativity.
Apple will not allow it to be associated with any kind of bad publicity.
They do their own bad publicity by not giving us an actual fucking phone.
Or Apple taking away different things and reselling it to us.
Oh, they sold you the button. Not the button.
The button, the freaking
audio jack,
headphone jack, right?
Or you want to be able to charge your phone.
You don't want to be associated with bad stuff, but the 12 and the 13 is the exact same fucking phone.
Yeah.
The Apple ain't asked you that. I'm just telling you facts, dog. So like, I learned this when I was watching. I caught a spoiler, and I was watching the Captain America and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's what it was. And Sharon Carter was using an Android, and somebody said, "Oh, she's the bad guy." And I looked at him and said, "What?" Nah, like for real. And then you get to the end, spoiler alert, she obviously was, and she was still using that same Android.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So, anyways, with Apple possibly pulling Twitter, that would be the end of Twitter. They're already hanging on by a thread. That'd be the end of Twitter. Like, but
I don't know. I don't think it's. I don't see it ever becoming MySpace. I do see.
I do. I absolutely do.
I mean,
we said the same thing about Facebook when Twitter came around, right? We're like, oh, Facebook's dying.
And it is.
Facebook's not.
Facebook's not
for
dying
old
for
people.
us because we're the old people who use it. If you talk to an 18-year-old, they don't have a Facebook page.
What's Facebook?
They absolutely do not.
You use Facebook?
18, 19, 20, no.
Oh,
They
y'all
don't.
be on
Facebook
that?
because, but Facebook as a company is that because it still owns Instagram, fucking
Yeah,
shit like
Facebook
that.
as a
So,
company did what they had to do to survive, but as an
They bought out
actual
their
form of social
competitors.
media, it's not as popping as other forms of social media.
It's
It
just
is slowly
useful.
becoming MySpace. You just don't want to admit to it because you're a fucking millennial and you grew up on it.
I could maybe see it like maybe in like the next 5 years.
It's becoming MySpace and Black
But
Planet.
I think because of it,
It is.
because of its marketing aspect, that's why I don't think it'll be a long while before it does become something like a MySpace because of its advertising and because of its marketing aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you. I feel you. Social media is forever changing. There's always new websites popping up and coming out and getting popular. And I do think that Facebook, I mean, Facebook's only lasting because it doesn't specialize in one form of.
Nope. It allows you to log in the shit. Like it makes it so useful. Like
Right.
Facebook is so connected to so much stuff that you use. You don't even have to worry about it. It's like,
yeah, you can use Facebook to log into different apps. So that's where it's still kind of relevant. And
that's
then
where they
I
fit
can
that
use it
model.
to post pictures, post videos, post
Right.
reels, post like words.
And now they're like, oh, you can get paid for using Facebook. And people
Yeah,
are like,
so it is making itself so
it'll
relevant.
pay me?
But overall, the age bracket of the people on Facebook.
Now, I would say like the interactions of people may be different, but that's about it.
So what would you say the youngest person that you usually encounter on Facebook is? Because I usually say about 24.
No, I mean, well, I'll say my little cousin is 20, 21.
Yeah.
So about the average age that I see when I interact with people is about 23, 24. That's about usually the lowest I've seen.
Like actually active on Facebook. Because then I know a lot of people who have Facebooks and just, don't use it. Or use it for Messenger.
Use it for this, use it for that. But I mean, like actively, you can count on seeing a post. You can see them saying happy birthday to someone, like actively on a Facebook page where this looks like, oh, this is a real thing.
They're millennial.
You're a real person.
They're a millennial. Yeah. Nothing in Gen Alpha or Gen whatever is under us.
Whatever the next niggas are.
Gen,
we are
X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
All of that.
Like a Pokemon. Speaking of which, fuck that Charizard raid. I clapped it. I can only catch one. I'm still mad.
Now I'm just helping. I just help people beat it. I've soloed it by myself. Just play it. So not to toot my own horn, but I'm that nigga.
Brittany just reached 5 stars. I'm out here soloing 6 stars.
Brittany's taking her sweet ass time for some reason. Like I don't know why, but she's taking her sweet ass time.
I'm enjoying the game I paid $60 for. Why can't I enjoy the game at the pace of the what the fuck? Like, first of all, the gyms in all of the fucking regions don't even switch over till next year. I have time, my nigga. I have time to get my shit to where I want it to be.
You're gonna be behind. You're gonna be behind the power curve because people.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because as one of the only women, when I get there, I'm still the first, so it doesn't fucking matter. Like,
so
I'm enjoying it.
Know what Brittany's talking about? She's actually the first woman to ever clear an all-black Pokemon region. Rich is amongst the one of like what 3 or 4 people that have actually cleared multiple black Pokemon regions.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but that's because those niggas suck. So
I only have 1 championship under my belt. I keep telling Rich anytime he wants to step over and
I purposely don't finish certain regions just because it's so easy. I purposely you know what? I'm good. I don't feel like
I sell for psychic, so anytime you want these psychic hands.
That's hilarious. Well, speaking of great black people and great blackness, black excellence, Hakeem Jeffries is the first black speaker of the House taking over for Nancy Pelosi.
Woo.
So
we in there now.
Yeah, so he's the first Black person of either party, obviously. But he is for the Democratic
I
Party.
mean, it's getting more representation. It's seeing more Black people that are stepping up in politics. Like,
But
this
see,
is the
that's the
same
thing. I want
time.
to do more than just see them. I want these motherfuckers to actually do something. I don't want to just see.
Yeah, no, I feel
And
you.
we got to give them a chance.
We gotta give him a chance.
We got to give
There's
them the
I
same
saw
fair
like
shot.
one clip of him and he like closed it
He was
out
the
and he
one
was
that
like,
was
if you
quoting-
don't know, now you know. Like, and that's how he ended it. And I was like, okay.
But he's been known to quote Wu-Tang. He's
Yeah,
been known
and
to
hip-hop.
quote like
Anybody can find a nice little cliche and stick onto that shit. Fuck that bitch.
absolutely.
What does your bill say? What does your bill say, and how does it fucking help me? Because everything else is just
Yeah,
fucking glitzy glamour,
absolutely.
dog and
Well, see,
pony.
here's the thing. Him as the Speaker of the House is not going to change the division within the Democratic Party. Like,
No.
that's still a major issue. You have very liberal people and you have conservative liberal people, and
But
there
you
is
have
no
the
real
people that
in
look
between.
like they're like, you know what? I can see the change coming. I can see the AOCs on the horizon. I can see the Westmores getting elected as governor for the first time in states that are usually more liberal. I mean, conservative. I can see the change happening. And as I see this change happening, as I see stuff going on around me, maybe I'm the old one that needs to step out. And that's what it looks like it's happening with Nancy Pelosi stepping first. Like, and I hope Bernie doesn't run. Like, and I voted for Bernie.
No, I think the United States should put a fucking age limit on goddamn running for president, and it should stop at like fucking 65.
Absolutely, I do
you
think
collect Social Security, you should not run for president.
Yeah, like at a certain point, if you're not going to live to see the world that you're making changes to, you should stop being able to make.
I mean, no, they live to see the world they make the change to. The changes just don't affect them.
The changes don't affect them.
The changes don't affect them.
You're already on a fixed income. You're already like
right. So you're making.
You're not worried about minimum wage because you're on a fixed income. You're not worried about.
Like, you're not worried about Social Security because your income is higher than Social Security anyway.
Exactly.
You're not worried about what the bill that you didn't pass for pollution might do 30, 40 years from now.
Right. For your great grandchildren.
That's not your generation. You're not worried about what the bills that you don't do or what you don't get in charge of. You're not worried about what Roe versus Wade would do for your generation because your generation's done having kids. There are bills, there are things that we need done. And these people,
no, it's for the most part, those bills don't affect them.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Even for their grandkids, the bill doesn't affect their grandkids because they're on a whole nother level.
But it affects everyone else.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're talking about human rights, when we're talking about human rights, which is, not necessarily the House. Well, no, I mean, all of that goes through all of that. But when we're talking about human rights and bills that affect human rights, that affects everybody. It doesn't matter what your fucking tax bracket is.
Now, here's my question. Who creates human rights? Who says what humans have the right to do? Other humans and society. So as society and humans change,
right. So when I say human rights, I'm saying essentially the lack of policing certain rights, like you like my uterus that shouldn't be on the fucking docket today.
But your uterus isn't in the Bill of Rights, which is the only thing that says what you have the right to.
Election season, and I don't want to keep hearing about Roe versus Wade and uterus this and
Let's
uterus
talk about the more important things that affect everybody.
Let's talk about the environment.
The amount of abortions I have does not affect Rich's life.
Absolutely not. I don't give a fuck about the amount of abortions somebody else is having, but I care that the infrastructure is not getting fixed. I care that the school system.
I care that I just fucking got a flat tire.
I mean, well, I guess it all just depends. Yeah, if you're talking about your area. Because I don't care about the fucking school system in Missouri. What the fuck? It has nothing to do with me.
No, but I care about the infrastructure in Philadelphia because that's where a lot of the shit from the East Coast comes from.
But I don't live on the East Coast. I live in the South. We have our own ports. We have
right.
our own.
But you have your own issues that don't involve other women's uteruses. That's what I'm saying. Like there's other things on the docket that are more important.
There are a lot.
I guess for them it'll boil down to
what am I have this empty ass cup and it's making
what are my tax dollars going to? Right. So instead of my tax dollars going towards abortions, maybe I want to go towards schools in my area.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe instead of my schools are good enough. So I do want to go towards abortions, or maybe, so it just depends on how which side you stand on. But who's to say whose side is right and whose side is wrong? Both sides are human rights. Both sides are fucking what that human says that they think they should have.
Absolutely. But
because there's no docket. There's no, this is your human right.
Right. But you see, the people that grew up in my neighborhood, the people that grew up seeing the problems that we faced in our generation, the people that are from the places that we're from are now seeing the things that we see. The people that aren't from the places that we're from, the people that have grown like from 1940, 1950. Nancy Pelosi got, you know how old Nancy Pelosi is?
Like 85.
82. An 82-year-old should not be making rights for the next 40, 50 years.
Yeah. We also shouldn't have senators that are able to sit in the seat for like fucking ever.
Absolutely not.
There should be terms on all of
There
that.
should be
Nancy
terms
Pelosi
all of it.
entered the fucking house in like 86. 80,
Yeah, motherfuckers have been in the house longer than I've been alive. Like,
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's incredible because she's just stepping down from her seat of power in the House of Representatives. She's not stepping away. She is not doing less.
Yeah,
of
she's
a
just
job.
not the speaker.
She's just not the speaker.
Yeah.
She's still there.
She has done that job longer than I've been alive, and she still can't retire.
Mhm.
Give it the fuck up, Nancy. Like,
message to Nancy, give it the fuck up.
Come on now, because nothing's changing while you're there. Let's get some fresh blood in. Let's get some people that will change shit. Let's get some people that's less argumentative.
But let's be honest,
you
bro.
believe.
Let's be honest. The people they're going to put in there are going to be the people that think the same as them.
Let's
That's the people that they're going to put in there. Otherwise, you're not going. Otherwise, you're going to be an independent, and this is why independents will never win because Republicans would rather see a Democrat before they see a fucking independent. They're going to put the people that they want to see in there.
Why don't we get out and vote? Why don't we get out and change this? Why don't people that are listening to this vote so that we can see a change?
I'm going to tell you, your vote doesn't matter.
My vote did matter.
Your vote doesn't matter because electoral college is trying to just tell you to fuck off anyway.
Hey, you can say what you want, but I wanted Wes Moore as my governor.
I say what I want. That's the truth.
And I stand by my vote matter. Because the votes that I say and the things that I want in my community get changed. I voted for.
I can say. I will say that maybe in on a city level, yeah, your vote matters. But federal, they don't give a fuck about your vote. They told you that.
They did. They told us to stop the steal. And I lived here. I was in DC when that shit was happening. Do you know how scary it is to know that, like, while you might make fun of it, those are my friends that were out there from the DC National Guard. These are the people that I deployed with. These are the people that I know. That these are like people that I've been to their houses. I've been time around their family. And they're out there having to deal with some shit that they shouldn't have because one person's out there saying, stop the steal, stop the steal. No one stole shit.
Yeah, so with all of that being said, and I agree with all that, baby. I agree with all that.
Sorry.
We did, I don't know if you haven't checked it out already, make sure you check out our voting episode, the runoff election in which we talked to Michelle about in Georgia is on December 6th. So while we're talking about voting, get out there and vote.
Let's stop Herschel Walker.
Yeah. We don't need Herschel Walker.
We as a community don't need Herschel Walker.
As a black community, we don't need that representation.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, what word was that?
Words. Right. Making my own shit up. Anywho, this
Just
episode and every episode is brought to you by RDI Financial.
Always.
You can't help broke people being broke.
No, you cannot.
It is holiday season.
This shit matters, bruh. Look.
It is holiday season. We know you are using those credit cards left and right to make sure your baby's got Christmas gifts. Rich is here to tell you how to do that correctly, what needs to get paid, how much needs to get paid, keep your credit in check. All right.
Because
so make sure you guys
tax season's coming around, peoples. Y'all gonna be trying to get
right. Tax season's coming around and all that. So make sure you guys hit up RDI-Financial for all of your financial needs. Make sure you guys check us out on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, at UNAB Podcast or Unapologetically Black Podcast. Like, follow, and subscribe on YouTube. Check us out on anywhere you can listen to podcasts. And guys, we're actually looking for another co-host. So if you're interested in joining us, not replacing you.
We're firing Jamal.
Just putting you back in your place as our behind the scenes producer.
I think I'd rather be told that I'm being fired than we're putting you back in the place.
Put you back in your place.
Yeah. I think I'd rather be told I'm being fired.
Yeah. So if you guys are interested in being a co-host, hit us up. message us on Facebook. That's probably the easiest way to make sure we all get that message.
Not me. I'm tired.
And we'll set up. We're gonna do some interviews, and yeah, we're just trying to find a good fit for our team. So,
But be ready to be asked, what does being unapologetically black mean to you? Because that's our most important question that we'd ask you.
yeah. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay unapologetically black. Have a good night.
Gang.